Welcome to the FB podcast, where we dissect the hottest stories in football. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a sensational transfer drama that, if it weren't for football, you'd think was the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster. Imagine this: a superstar striker fresh off a season where he conquered his league is now at war with his own club, threatening to strike all because of a broken promise and a dream move to one of the biggest clubs in the world. Sound like a blockbuster movie? Well, strap in, because this is the very real, very dramatic saga of VIKTOR Gyökeres and Sporting Lisbon, with Manchester United caught right in the middle, and we're here to tell you the plot just keeps thickening. In recent days, VIKTOR Gyökeres' future has become an extremely hot topic, attracting the attention of every football fan. Not only because of the information that he has nodded to Manchester United, but also because of an ongoing unstable relationship with his parent club Sporting Lisbon, speeding up the process of this deal. Obviously, Sporting Lisbon also understands that it is difficult for them to keep their number one striker. Things started to get dramatic when journalist Ben Jacobs unexpectedly revealed that Gyökeres had agreed to join Old Trafford despite the Red Devils failing to qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season. Immediately, this move caused a series of unexpected reactions. First came from Sporting coach Rúben Amorim himself. Initially, Mr. Amorim warned his former student that if he wanted to play in the big arena, he never come to the Theatre of Dreams at this time, because he needed players who were willing to sacrifice for the club. However, after a short time, the Portuguese strategist changed his mind, identifying the center forward position as the top target for Man Ud, especially after they missed out on Liam Dapp, with new recruits like Matheus Ka or Brian Bumo both playing in the number 10 position behind the center forward. Man Ud just needed another perfect striker to complete the attack, and then it was Gyökeres' turn to make a definite move for his future. After Arsenal withdrew from the deal to focus on Benjamin Sesko, the Swedish striker suddenly removed the name of his home club and sponsor from the description on his personal Instagram account. This was no different from an implicit confirmation that he would leave this summer and was waiting for a new destination to fill out his profile. So why did Gyökeres act so decisively and seemingly angry? The Portuguese newspaper Record quickly reported on this very hot story. Accordingly, the striker, born in 1998, was disappointed and acted like that because Sporting Lisbon president Federico Varandas demanded a transfer fee of up to 80 million euros, higher than the number agreed with him before. This made joining Manchester United much more difficult than originally expected. Before that, a meeting between Gyökeres, his agent, along with President Federico Varandas and Sporting director Hugo Viana took place. This meeting was to propose his desire to leave in the summer transfer window on the condition that Gyökeres must help the club successfully defend the Primera Liga title. And in fact, with the domestic double that Sporting won, Gyökeres fulfilled his promise, and now it was time for the board to respond to the request of the striker who scored 54 goals last season. Therefore, the unexpected move of Sporting Lisbon made the Nordic guy feel hurt when the people at the top did not keep their promise, especially in the context that he had tried his best to help the club achieve its goals. Record sources added that the relationship between the two sides has almost completely broken down, and a strong message from Gyökeres is that he will leave and be ready to strike if this request is not accepted. This is not a matter of love, but rather because President Federico Varandas has not kept his promise and made it difficult during the negotiation process with the partner. However, the story is not one-sided. Immediately, the Portuguese newspapers met the next main character in this story, President Federico Varandas. Mr. Varandas completely denied any promises, as the press had embroidered in the past. He affirmed that there was no price gouging or making things difficult for the player from the leadership. The head of Sporting Lisbon even accused the 1998-born star of causing case and lacking the necessary professionalism. President Varandas explained the story from his perspective. He said that the negotiations began last year when the season ended and Sporting were champions. Initially, they thought Gyökeres would stay because they had not received any offers. Then Gyökeres' agent approached Hugo Viana several times to ask if a bonus could be added to the contract if the expected goals were met. One of Gyökeres' agent's biggest concerns was whether Sporting would demand a $100 million release clause next year, especially as Gyökeres will be 27. Varandas confirmed that they agreed that Sporting would not demand a $100 million release clause at the end of next season because no 27-year-old player leaves Portugal for $100 million. Varandas stressed that Gyökeres' dream is to go to a club that plays in the Champions League. Gyökeres' agent wanted to fix a specific price, having previously talked about 60 or 70 million, but Varandas made it clear that there is no point in fixing a specific price because it is impossible to predict what will happen in a year's time, such as injuries or form. He only assured that there will be no demand for 100 million for Gyökeres. Since then, Varandas has never spoken directly to the agent or Gyökeres about leaving in a specific price. He insisted that Gyökeres will not leave for 60 million because he was never promised that. According to him, the drama that the agent is creating will only make the situation worse. So far, Sporting have not received any official offer for Gyökeres. However, the latest information from Portugal confirms that 70 million euros is not the figure that Sporting Lisbon will immediately nod to Manchester United. However, the fact that the reigning Primeira Liga champions are willing to sit down at the negotiating table to finalize the most reasonable figure rather than relying on the contract termination fee is a factor that gives the Red Devils an advantage in finding a common voice with this familiar partner. The milestones that can be met will be 70 or 80 million euros, and the most important thing is how to pay. With the good relationship between the two clubs, Manchester United can hope for a deal to be completed smoothly. Amidst the speculation surrounding Gyökeres' future, his close friend singer Tom Grennan, a former Aston Villa player, spoke to the BBC about a conversation between the two. He revealed that the 27-year-old is really looking to move to Manchester this summer, and as expected, it's Manchester United. As Grennan added that part of the reason Gyökeres wants to move to Manchester is because Erling Haaland, a close friend of Gyökeres, is also there. Interesting, right? This shows that personal factors and friendships can also play an important role in big transfer decisions. It must be emphasized that the scandal between Gyökeres and Sporting Lisbon is an internal matter between the two parties in Manchester United, or more specifically, Ineos has nothing to do with this event. Ineos' task is only to observe the situation before choosing the right time and price to talk to the reigning Primeira Liga champions. Sporting and Manud are already familiar partners, from player transfers to head coaches, so this is a good premise for the deal to take place. Coach Rúben Amorim is looking to build a similar spirit to what Gyökeres has shared about his dedication to the club. Mr. Amorim even stated that he was ready to resign if he could not build this culture at the Theatre of Dreams. This shows that Gyökeres is the perfect piece, not only in terms of skills, but also in terms of the spirit that the team is looking for. In short, the story between Gyökeres and Sporting Lisbon is taking place with many complicated developments, but after all, what we fans are most interested in is still the move from Manchester United. Sporting has made specific statements about Gyökeres' transfer fee, although not detailing a specific number, but certainly under 100 million euros is the number that Manchester United can negotiate. The good relationship between the two clubs will be an extremely important premise for the Red Devils leadership to finalize this deal, while helping Sporting Lisbon resolve the problem to move towards finding a new player to replace a player who wants to leave. Some want to leave, some don't want to keep, and now is the time for Ineos to come and solve it all. So do you think Manchester United can really sign VIKTOR Gyökeres at a reasonable price in this tense situation? What do you think about the back and forth between Gyökeres and President Varandas? Leave a comment below so we can discuss. If you find this video interesting and useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the latest videos from Podcast FB. Thank you for listening. Goodbye, and see you again in the next podcast.